columnists. They are using the Arabs, and they are emphasizing sometimes legitimate demand. They are saying you are marginalized anyway. Number two, you are different anyway. You are Berbers and Arabs. Down south, they are essentially Negroids, and therefore you ought to create your own state. And you can see that what happened in the month of April, the year 2026, when there was this coordinated attack on Bamako and different towns in Mali, leading to the death of the defense minister, it is very targeted. It must also be understood in the context of what is a contestation for power, because they see the emergence of the African core and they see the presence of Russia there. And in the context of a country that is losing traction with her former colonies, Mali is a choice property. It is choice because it has strategic minerals. And you've lost Mali, you've lost Niger, you've lost Burkina Faso. And they are saying that we have even moved out of ECOWAS. We are forming the Organization of Sahelian States. They have formed their own military pact. They are moving out of the CFA franc. They are saying we want to have our own banks which are local. We want to have, if it is the Russians, come to Mali and purify whatever it is that we have as minerals in situ. So that combination of factors is what, in my submission, has led to the situation that we see now. And I think that in the eyes of France, which is a power losing its foothold, an unstable Mali is useful. A divided Mali is useful. So the reignition, if you may, of the appetite for the Azawad state is one in which I see the invisible, some may say not so invisible, hands of France. The jury is still out, because we are talking at a time when there is confusion in that area. The defense minister, who was thought to have been very pro-African core and therefore pro-Russia, was killed in this very coordinated strike, which tells you that the Tuaregs had intelligence. And that kind of intelligence must have been shared with a power that has interests and has the technological ability to determine where these installations are, where key personalities are. One is waiting to see what will happen as things pan out. You know, there are different arguments about the role of the Africa Corps. It is not a fighting force. It is not designed to interfere in what one may describe as the internal affairs of the country. But there are a number of players. Look, one, Algeria made the claim that they were neutral and that they are the mediators because they understand the situation. But the question is, when we talk about France leaving, did they actually leave? The question is, they did not, because they are in the neighborhood. They are in La Côte d'Ivoire, they are in Cameroon, they are in Benin, they are in Gabon. So their leaving is one which is meant to hoodwink those who do not appreciate the dynamics. Remember, this is a country with sufficient technology to spy on Mali. And I think that that is what is happening. And you can see that even the Algerian involvement, there are those who say that Algeria is actually a beachhead for what is being manufactured in Paris. Whether that is true or not is another debate. But one can never discount, because France is a very persistent power, one that is losing its hold. And to whom is it losing in their estimation? To the Russian Federation. And what are they scared of? That the Russian Federation, which is a nuclear power in its own right, is having this unlimited access to uranium. And we are not just talking about uranium. There are other strategic minerals. Remember, we are on the fourth and fifth industrial revolution, and we are in the era of artificial intelligence. And the Sahel is an area that is home to many of these minerals. So many commentators don't want to say it very loudly, but in the privacy of boardrooms, they say it rather loudly, that they think that the French are behind what is happening, that the Tuaregs' legitimate demands, if they are simply being used as an excuse and a reason at once. And that is why you see the Assimi Goïta administration has been very pointed in saying this is an attempt by the Paris government to come back so that they can install an administration that will do their bidding. And I am of the view that that involvement or those accusations will become the subject of debate for the foreseeable future, and it will be unraveled. But there is the specific question: why couldn't the African Corps operate as if it were a fighting force? I think that is not their mandate. And you don't want, as a foreign force, to enter into an environment, into a terrain, and their involvement, in my view, is at the technical training level, so that those who know the terrain, those who understand the situation, are able to understand. And you can see the rhetoric from the Western world and Western media. They are describing the African Corps as Russian mercenaries, which is very deliberate. The choice of words is very deliberate. Now, these are soldiers of fortune. So when you are already being labeled in that manner, you want to be very careful. Remember the age-old saying, give a dog a bad name and kill it. That, I think, is what is happening. The Sahel, or the Sahelian states, have now formed an alliance, including something that is very close to a military pact. That is Niger, Mali, and Burkina. And remember, if you look at what is happening in that region, there have been attempts, coup attempts in Burkina, assassination attempts in Burkina, attempts at eliminating the government of Achani in Niger. And once you have instability in Mali, then you are also telegraphing ideas to the individuals who may be used by France and other interested parties in Burkina and also in Niger. And in the neighborhood, it is also the possibility that there are neighbors in that particular region who are not happy with the fact that the Sahel is teaching their military people bad manners. I've had this conversation, and bad manners means that they may choose